Ghostface responds to Martin Shkreli with this ridiculous video, which if you haven't seen it, I will drop it in the description below. Of course, Ghostface is responding to Martin Shkreli's troll video where he had goons behind him, and he said that he would he would smack Ghostface if he ever mentioned his name again. He had his masked goons behind him, and he was talking all sorts of crazy, right? Ghostface makes this vid now that he seemed to put some time into, and he also incorporated a lot of product placement. So obviously, you know, he's being an opportunist with all this, and I guess all things considered, why not? Because this isn't really a beef. I mean, the nature of this is just, it's sensationalism, which I understand is an aspect of beef, but that's all it is. I mean, it's just, you know, it's just a bunch of huff and puff and nothing more than that. I want to put Ghostface and Martin more into a better perspective for you guys out there. First of all, when you watch this video by Ghostface, the first thing that probably comes to mind is that Ghostface is out of character. I mean, you saw how Ghostface responded to Action Bronson with the Teddy Pendergrass in the back and saying, "You fat nigga, you can never fuck with my sword, God," and all that mess, right? And that seemed to be an appropriate response. What wasn't appropriate was all that crazy stuff that Ghostface said about having shooters and all that stuff. I was a little too crazy. It seems like the punishment didn't fit the crime. So you take that response that he had to Action Bronson, which was, you know, he got the job done with that one, and, you know, that little feud was deaded. And now he's playing to the level of his competition here with Martin. I mean, he's got this whole ridiculous thing where he brings out these old women whom I am told are not related to him. They appear to be his sister and his mother, but they, in fact, are not his sister and his mother. And it's all a bit, you know, it's all a bit jokey. And this isn't an unfamiliar territory for Ghostface. For the life of me, I tried so hard to find a series of videos that Ghostface did several years ago. I want to say maybe 5-6 years ago, if not more than that. Ghostface made these little comedy sketches where the point of it was to get you to save money at your local corner store, at your local deli or bodega. So in this video, what he would do is he'd be sitting in the middle of a grocery store and he would price up snacks. And he figured out a plan where you could basically feed yourself at a bodega for under $3. You know, you get your vanilla wafers, God, and then you get your zebra cakes, and then you get your Arizona iced tea, and that'll run you up about $3.50, God. You know, that kind of thing. So there was a lot of humor to it. You know, so I'm familiar with seeing Ghostface sort of in that light, not always as this serious Teddy Pendergrass, I'm sorry, you know, this character threatening people on camera. It's under his umbrella. I mean, I guess it's sort of his humor, you could say. As far as Martin, he's been known because of what he did with that certain that AIDS drug that was apparently $13.50, and he hiked it up to about $750. I saw this Breakfast Club interview that he had, you know, with Charlemagne the God and all those people up there. And, you know, he explained that this is a normal practice in the pharmaceutical industry, making it seem almost like he's not as big a villain as people frame him out to be, because in comparison to other drugs, the hike of the price that he did is nothing. I did some research on several drugs, and, you know, this particular drug right here that I'm about to name to you guys isn't the most expensive drug in the world. Apparently, the most expensive drug in the U.S. is a drug called Glybera. I'm not sure what Glybera treats, but the treatment of it is over $1 million. I believe it comes in pill form. But this drug that I want to mention to you, it's called Actar. Not sure how it's pronounced. It's A-C-T-H-A-R, Actar. This drug was apparently priced at about $50 several years ago, and I guess was reissued out to, you know, I guess it was bought out by another company, and this particular company priced it up to $28,000 for a 5 milliliter vial. Okay, it didn't come in drug form. I mean, it didn't come in pill form. It came in the form of drops. So the treatment for this drug was $28,000. So it went from $50 to $28,000. The more you research online, the more that you see that this is a common practice. The pharmaceutical industry is a fucking, it's a slaughterhouse. It's a hub for scum, for reasons that obviously I don't have to qualify to you guys. You know, those of us who live basic lifestyles and don't come from privileged backgrounds, whatever your color is, really. I mean, this isn't even a race issue. This is just a human issue. There's not many people out there that would be able to afford that. Apparently, the Actar is an anti-inflammatory drug, right? So the reason why I bring it up is, and by the way, I'm all over the place. I am not a pharmaceutical expert. It's just with basic research, you begin to see the whole scope of everything. And you look at Martin in a different light. He's still a piece of shit, right? He's still a piece of shit. But when we don't know, when we're not aware of somebody's world, of somebody's sector, we of course vilify them a lot more than we should. And we really don't see them for the shitty opportunists that they are. And that's really how you should view Martin. I mean, I also saw his Vice interview where they tried to, humanize him a bit. But, there's still something about him that it seems very fishy. As Charlemagne from Power 105 says, he still has an air of douchiness to him. So these guys are going, head to head, and they're throwing jabs at each other. And I suspect that this will probably be the last exchange between both of them, because Martin has sort of broken the fourth wall on that Vice interview where he was kind of just like, well, I was just making fun, and kind of did it in the Breakfast Club too. So I don't suspect that this will continue to go on, because it's not really a beef. It's just for show. Ghostface himself is, he's putting his woo goo wear, which little sweater that Ghostface had there was pretty tempting. The product placement worked on me, goddammit. I don't know. Those things look they look pretty appealing. I'll fucking tell you that much. It's not unfamiliar waters for Ghostface. He is not acting out of character. I think he's simply looking at the situation as a come up, a platform to promote his clothing line. But there was that odd part at the end of Ghostface's video, and please, if you haven't seen it, please, you should have paused this thing a while ago and checked it out. It's about an 11-minute piece. And it gets really odd towards the end when Ghostface's sister or paid actress, whoever the fuck she is, starts having a quote-unquote real moment and starts to talk to Martin and telling us, she had a tumor taken out of her brain, and then she starts crying, and that's when the whole thing gets a bit weird. Because she puts Ghostface on this pedestal, like what he's doing for humanity with, some oil that Ghostface is selling. I'm not aware of what this oil does and what it treats. But the point is it is getting a bit, it got a bit odd towards the end. It did get a bit odd, and I didn't get it, because if we're going to approach Martin like what he is, we're approaching him like a troll. Right? That's how Ghostface is coming at him. He's approaching him as if he's a troll, and he's giving the troll a taste of his own medicine. He's calling him Pee Wee Herman. He referred to his goons as like the Jokers. Sorry, not the Joker. The Penguins goons from the Adam West Batman shows. So he's approaching him in that way, and then at the end of it, there's this really odd moment where she's pleading to a multi-millionaire to humble himself. you know, to be more of a human being. And I gotta say, I just found it kind of odd, and it was unnecessary, because I think up until then I understood what was going on. I had no problem with Ghostface responding. I saw a video of you know, hip hop YouTuber. I mean, he doesn't post as often as he used to, but hip hop YouTuber, Misanthropic one. And, you know, I saw his video on the matter, but I think this was before Ghostface actually dropped this new video. And he was like, you know, I want Ghost to focus more on the music and everything. And apologize for the sirens, guys. I live in the hood. You know what I'm saying? I live in the hood, not the rap hood, the real hood. Okay, so he was like, he should stick more to the music, but, you know, I disagree. I think it's understandable. I mean, at this point in Ghostface's career, you have to face facts. You are in the winter of your career, although Ghostface did put out 2 good projects last year, so he's still of value. You know, there's still something left on his plate that people would like to hear, and I understand that. But at the same time, it's still not at the height that it was years ago. You know, because there's obviously, you know, there's some truth to what Martin says when he says, you know, you're washed up. Although he is a legend, of course. We understand that. But there is some truth to it. So Ghostface himself acknowledges that. And, I mean, take a look at the video. I mean, in between this whole spiel, when he brings out those 3 women, there's, you know, there's hats. There's all this stuff there. He's, you know, he wants you to buy his shit. Buy his merch. Support Ghostface Killah, because here's the truth. Martin supported him. I mean, there's that weird aspect to both of them, where it's like Martin supported good hip hop. He supported good. He's a piece of shit, but he supported good hip hop. At the end of the day, you know, personal feelings aside, however you may feel about him, you know. And, you know, and lastly, I will say that there is a bit of a similarity, of course, between Martin hiking up his drug from the price that he did, you know, and the price of that one Wu-Tang album. Now, obviously, there is a, you know, there's a difference, because there's not a demand for a Wu-Tang album. People don't need it to live. You know, they don't need it to treat their ailments. But there's still, you know, there's still similarities there, in the sense that it's a total high-priced item, and it's very unnecessary. You know, at the end of the day, Martin supported good hip hop. He's a piece of shit, and Ghostface is simply just, he's trying to bank off this opportunity while people are still talking about him, and you know, while we anticipate his project with MF Doom. You know, very small amount of people, but there still are people looking forward to it, of course. You know, those grassroots hip hop heads. But I feel like I understood what was going on up until the end of that video. But what do you guys think? I mean, I would imagine that most of you, of course, you're dismissive about it. You know, this is about attention and all that stuff. Forget about it. About 99.9% of feuds can possibly be about attention. We get that, okay? But look beyond that. Try to think a little deeper and maybe examine what the motives are here, and maybe something, you know, some interesting thought could come out of it. You know what I'm saying? So what do you think about Ghostface's video? Do you think Martin is going to make another response to it? I sure as fuck hope he doesn't. But just take a look at the video. Tell me what you think, and I will see you guys next time.